Welcome again, everyone. We're happy to have you here today for this webinar on best practices for chamber travel with our special guest, Central Holidays West General Manager, Ian Scott. Before I turn the program over, I'll start with some housekeeping. First, please remember to place your phone on mute and refrain from placing the call on hold to avoid any background noise or unnecessary interruptions. Second, Ian will have time for questions at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions, please ask them using the question function in the webinar access panel. The question box is in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Just type in your questions and we will read them aloud. Third, this webinar will take no longer than an hour and is being recorded. Check the ACCE website within the next few days for the recording and any presentation materials. Central Holidays is an official travel partner of ACCE. Central Holidays has provided numerous travel opportunities to incredible destinations such as Egypt and coming up in December, Peru. They have been a great friend to the association and its members. If you are new to, interested in continuing or beginning chamber travel, then Ian's presentation will provide some useful information. Ian?
Thank you, Tenja. And thank you all for attending our Best Practices of Chamber Travel webinar today. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, wherever I find you today. My name's Ian Scott, and I'm the General Manager of Central Holidays West, and I believe I've met many of you at various conferences, regional or the annual conference of ACCE each year. It's great to be here, and my intent today is to bring forth the tools to be able to successfully plan a chamber program, or as we call them, international awareness programs, with frank and forthright conversations. We at Central Holidays West partner with chambers and bring forth advice and guidance on how to operate programs. We don't sell destinations based on what our needs are. It is a full partnership of very informative information, so you can bring forth a decision on what you want to do, where you want to go, how you want to go there at the end of any conversation that we have. Today is designed in a very broad range to bring forth that to you. So without further ado, let's discuss a little bit about, well, I have to bring forth who Central Holidays is first. I see we have many of our partners on board on this webinar. Thank you for coming and listening again, and thank you for your partnerships. But Central Holidays has been in business since 1972. We're a member of Sakara International Travel Group with thousands of employees worldwide. We own riverboats, hotels, travel companies, and other travel-related entities. We have offices all over the world. We've got one on the East Coast, New Jersey, one on the West Coast in North San Diego, as well as regional sales development professionals throughout the country who service our chamber partners. We are a full-service travel wholesaler. What does that mean? That means we contract directly at the source. By contracting directly at the source, we can very much save you money without affecting the quality. We don't have middlemen in our travel operation. We are the official travel partner of the Association of Chamber of Commerce. We're very proud to be that entity. We follow their standards of quality and codes of ethics. And again, we thank ACCE for allowing us to be that official travel provider. Our wish is to bring forth and reveal the treasures of the world. We don't go everywhere. We don't want to go everywhere. We want to go to destinations that bring forth an unusual aspect, something that you can't find on a regular travel program. We want to be able to infiltrate into the local community and find out about life, about business aspects, about cultural infrastructure of a destination, not just see the sights and sounds. And we call ourselves, and hopefully, once if you haven't spoken, class ourselves as the leader of value-priced 4-star programs in the United States. Now, best practices in starting an international awareness programs. If you haven't started one of these before, you might be toying with, well, what do we do? Why do we do this? Why do chambers travel? There are many reasons, but the main reasons are international awareness market. I am constantly told that it is far easier to operate a travel program than a golf event, maybe a market, a town market, or many other things that you do. I'm told it's much easier to operate a travel program than those. It is also to create a footprint, an international footprint, which many chambers don't have. You can bring forth that particular program, bring it out on your website, and it does bring forth an international awareness for you. You can take a leadership role with your members, with members of the local community, to bring forth an educational experience of what life is like outside the United States, whether it be in a business, a social event, the values of a destination, as well as seeing a fabulous trip along the way too. Another important fact is to reward staff, or that the chamber executive president likes to travel. All our programs have complimentary spaces on them, and it's a great way to incentivize staff members that may have worked hard over the year, or if you're the chamber exec yourself, to head out and travel with fellow chamber members and members of the local community. Travel is always fun. It builds relationships, whether it be overseas, meeting people overseas, or whether it be with members and members of your local community. It builds long-lasting relationships. Now, in this webinar, this is what we'll discuss, and as Tenja mentioned, we'll open up to questions at the end. If we haven't discussed what you'd like to find out about, we'll open up to questions and answers at the end. But we will discuss the criteria for selecting a partner, a travel company. We'll discuss selecting a destination. How do you select a date? How many trips should I plan in a year? Who are my prospects? Who should I try and get to travel with me? The horizons of time. When should I start a travel program? And that also brings into the marketing aspect too. When do I start marketing? We'll talk about the member traveler benefit and complimentary spaces on the trip. I think in a nutshell, that's a great way. If you haven't started a travel program yet, these are all the criteria we believe you should be looking at to make that evaluation. So the first one, selecting a travel partner. It is, we believe, so important to select a travel partner that makes their own programs, that doesn't grab a program from somebody else and pass it on to you. As a wholesaler, you are working with a partner that contracts at the source. So there are less layers involved in the process when you work with a wholesaler. And as a result, less layers mean usually better quality and a lower price. A company that has been in business operating fundraising programs, not vacations, for many years. And the distinction between a fundraising program is, in my business, there are no guarantees. But there are better possibilities on some destinations than other of them selling. A vacation is if you take a family trip. you know you already have 5, 10, 15 family members ready to go with you. When you bring forth a fundraising program, you might not already have a pre-existing base to say, I've already got 40 people that want to go with me. So the advice of what's selling, where should you go, what's planned, how do you plan a fundraising program is very important. It's important to bring forth a company that can offer you the full service option, not only to create the program, to operate the program for you, to make sure that you have marketing information, to be able to have staff that can discuss, I've been there, this is the destination, this is what you'll find, and have a very informative travel presentation in front of your chamber members. And also to have a full accounting background that the company will bring forth accounting assistance to you. A company that offers unique destinations. We'll discuss a little bit more about this in a moment, but such things as Alaska cruises, Caribbean vacations are very, very difficult for you to operate and for us to operate, as they're what's called the Sunday travel marketplace. So by creating a unique destination, something that's not in the local area, is important. A company that has the power to offer shared departures. If you have not started a travel program before, you might not already have a group of 40, 50, 100 people that's traveling with you. So it's important to head into a conversation and a program knowing that you are traveling on a date where there will be other chambers traveling on that said same date. So if you produce 10 and that other chamber produces 10 and another one produces 20, you know the trip's going to go ahead. So have a company that produces shared departure dates is important. A company that will not advertise price on their website, will not do email blasts to general public on price. It is very important. Some chambers make $200, some make $300, some make more per person on that. So it's important to have that security of knowing that the only price you'll find on your trip is on your specific brochure that we make for you. Lastly, extremely important, you are going out there and marketing. You're going out there and finding people. You're going out there and building your affinity. You should be partnering with a company that will not try and steal those travelers away from you via mailings, via email blasts, via any form to get them to travel with you. To get them to travel with the travel company and not with you. Now, payments from the passengers to the company, another important criteria. And if this is planned correctly, you'll never head into this avenue at all. But I don't know if you recall, about 4 years ago, ABC Destinations went out of business, or something in those words, which left approximately 1,100 chamber travelers without a program, without a vacation that they had paid for. As a result, ABC just closed their doors. Central Holidays came out and assisted those chambers and those chamber presidents on their for their trip. ABC Destinations recommended that all travelers pay by check and gave incentives and discounts for those payments to be made by check. We strongly recommend and do not head into an agreement with an entity that offers early bird discounts, special cash or check discounts if your travelers pay by cash or personal check. By heading into that, you're opening the chamber to exposure of financial uncertainty. Always make sure that you have the opportunity to pay by credit cards for deposit and final payment. In fact, for any aspect of the travel, you should have the ability to pay by credit card. And by doing that, you have no exposure at all, as the credit card company will assist in any improprieties of payments by a travel company as such. As we mentioned, Central Holidays did bail out those 28 chambers. Any chamber traveler that did pay by personal check, we did cover that. Anybody that paid by credit card, we assisted with refunds and then assisted with collecting new payments. It's something that is difficult. We don't recommend you try and get down that avenue. Always make sure you have the credit card option. As I mentioned earlier, there are no guarantees in my business. I wish there was. Fundraising travel is fun, it's exciting, and there are some destinations that sell far better than others. And I recommend, and we recommend, to follow the criteria that we have set here. Select a destination that is not readily available in the local area. A crazy one, if you're in Las Vegas, don't do a national parks product that's in and out of Las Vegas, because it's easy to drive there yourself. If you're in Boston, you'll find there's a high amount of Irish people living in Boston. We don't recommend doing an Irish program out of Boston or New England, because most people have been to Ireland, or they know an Irish person that they can go to Ireland with and have an inexpensive destination, an expensive program by staying with friends and family members. The Sunday newspaper is important. Caribbean cruises, Alaska cruises, New England cruises are all Sunday newspaper, all inclusives in the Caribbean and Mexico are all extremely difficult to produce as a fundraising program. Why? Because there are entities like the cruise lines that would prefer to go direct to the traveler and bypass you and I. So as a result, you'll find there are internet operators that will produce a trip on the internet at a price, and they may be making 2 or 3, 4, 5% on a particular program. That's not something that you can survive on in a fundraising format, and it's not something we can survive on. We bring forth so much more in a service format than an internet booking engine. So please, we strongly recommend staying away from that type of a trip. And importantly, once you're on that trip, as mentioned earlier, those entities, the all-inclusive sites, may be selling the next visit to another destination, or the cruise line might be offering a $500 discount if you book on board with the cruise line for future travel. Again, it's not something that's in your interest to do that. Selecting a destination of 9 days in length, 7 nights, is approximately right for a U.S. traveler. If we've got any Canadians on board the webinar today, alas, you can go in a little longer. You can go up to 10, 12 days on the program. But the U.S. traveler historically is a 9-day traveler. And again, something not easily traveled to from your local area. Select a destination that is value priced. We don't mean cheap. Value priced is quality, good quality accommodations, centrally located hotels, some to look after you and your travelers on the trip, meals, tours, and such things as that. A good, well-rounded, value-priced trip. I know we've got Joe Underreiner from Kalispell on the site webinar today. They just came back from Oktoberfest in Austria and Germany. Something a little bit off the beaten track. We're looking here at a shot of Austria. We do have Croatia. Again, an up-and-coming destination. Something that people may feel they don't want to go there, or they don't know how to plan a trip there themselves. The southern zone of Spain, off the beaten track in Andalusia. Great destination. Most people haven't heard of it, but they've heard of the Rock of Gibraltar, Seville, Tangiers, the Granada and the Alhambra Palace. Great areas. Um, uh, Machu Picchu, Peru, South Africa are just some things that are emerging destinations that are doing very well in a chamber travel format. Now, generic, most successful trips are built on this. Again, just to recap, a 7-day, 9-day trip. The least amounts of packs and unpacks as possible. It's valuable. By doing the least amount of packs and unpacks, you can really infiltrate into the local community. Find a favorite bar, relax, make friends overseas. It's great. Have your international air from a hometown gateway. It was the largest airport close to the chamber traveler itself. Have a first class 4-star hotel or riverboat as the mainstay, the lowest standard that you go into. Have included meals and have included tours. Now it says not all on both of those. Why? Well, we want to be able to throw out the widest net possible to grab as many people and make our program as attractive to 2 different demographics. The demographic is, the first one is the escorted traveler, the person that's been on a group travel program many times. They like to be on the go every minute of the day with all tours included. But we also want to make sure that we can grab a new type of traveler, the independent traveler, or the person that's starting to say, maybe I don't want to travel by myself any longer. I would like to join a group trip. So by not having all tours included, it attracts to the independent traveler too. For the escorted traveler, the person that's been on group trips before, they can bring forth and have buy a optional day tour before they leave the United States to make sure that they're on the go every minute of the day. By having this option, you cater to both travelers. Importantly too, a lot of people say, hey, I want to go out and experience dinner. 1, maybe 2 nights outside the hotel or outside a planned restaurant. That's why we don't include all meals on the program too. Assistance on the trip is important. A knowledgeable, well-mannered travel professional that's on the trip, whether you're in Italy, Ireland, Peru, South Africa, to have somebody who's forgotten more about the destination than will ever know accompany you on the trip. Again, just to recap, a destination and a program not found in the local community. And as we only produce chamber programs, you will only find our programs with other chambers. It's a big part of our partnership to know what's being offered by chambers in the surrounding area too. So we bring forth as part of our partnership advice on what's being offered in the area so that you don't compete against each other. And again, lastly, that competitively priced, value-conscious program. Now, setting a date for travel. There are some important things to know about when setting a date for travel. Through our conversations, we can discuss when is the value periods of destinations that you're looking to travel to. The chamber market is a value-priced marketplace. When is the weather not so nice at home? When should we go? I strongly recommend, if you're in a cold climate in the United States, to head out on a trip, maybe to a warmer destination, when it is bitterly cold at home. People would love to go and escape that snow. Try and avoid things when the flowers start to come out in springtime in the gardens, as people have waited for those flowers to come out and experience a little bit of outside life and not being cooped up in the house, in the office, and in the car because of poor weather. When do you need your profit on the trips? Is it first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? It's important to know when you want to find the money for this. What calendar, what budget are you on? Are you on a normal calendar, or is it a financial calendar for your budget to gain your revenue in as the profit? So again, another good point to bring forth. When can I bring forth time to dedicate to launch the program? Now, what are your responsibilities on this venture? We bring forth the conversations and the frank conversations about destinations with you, and our sales and business development team will do that with you. We'll bring forth, once we decide the destination, we'll bring forth the marketing pieces, which we'll discuss in a moment. We will bring forth the accounting assistance, which we'll talk about a little bit more again once people have signed up. Your responsibility is to blanket the area to your membership and to be able to blanket the area with the general public in and around the chamber area. That is your primary focus of this particular program. Chambers are fabulous networkers. Ever since I've been in this industry, it's nearly 10 years now, you astound me with the ability you have of getting the message out. That's what that is your responsibility on this program. We're there to assist you with questions and answer questions on the destinations, the marketing, and everything else such as that. But your primary focus is to get the message out. So when can I dedicate some time to get the message out? Remember, try and avoid important holidays. Avoid graduation. You'll be surprised how many times graduation will come up if you plan a trip during the graduation period, whether it be high school, college, and such things. Avoid Easter, Thanksgiving, and of course Christmas and some religious holidays not listed. How many trips should I plan in a year? It's a great question. You'll get people coming up to you and saying, hey, do 10, 15. It doesn't make a difference to you. Why not just offer one trip a month? Well, we have a little bit of a different understanding of it. This is how you will build the affinity of your program. You bring forth a trip. People will go on that trip. They may not know people from your area, but they'll go on this trip. They'll have adventures together. They'll have experiences together. They'll meet these people at lunch and on the buses at various events during the International Awareness Program and get to know each other. They then come home and they reconnect again. They create social events. They go out for dinner. They go to people's houses and they continue that affinity and camaraderie. This is all because of that positive experience they've experienced with you and us on the trip. The next time you offer the trip, they have had such a great time. They'll become a marketing arm for you, a sales wing, and they'll start bringing friends, family members, business associates to travel with you. And it works really, really well. The more trips that you offer in your first few years until you get this affinity up and running will hamper building the affinity. It's harder to get people to get together and to be able to meet people overseas if you offer too many choices. We recommend 1 or 2 trips to be sponsored by a chamber in the calendar year until you can come forth and produce 40 to 50 people on each trip. We strongly recommend no more than 2 trips. 2 trips usually is for an established chamber that's already traveling. If you haven't done a trip before, we strongly recommend 1 trip until you get that affinity up and running. If you get somebody coming and asking you and saying, well, do 2 trips, do 1 trip a month, why don't you do 4 trips? You've got to ask, what is it? Why is that in my interest that I will be doing more than 1 trip on my first year, more than 2 trips if I am already an established chamber travel entity? Before you know it, your affinity will start to slow down. Your travelers will start to pick destinations, and you lose your affinity. So again, keep to that 2 trips maximum, 1 trip for the first time you've operated one. Now, we've brought forth the marketing material. We know who we're traveling with. Who can I get to travel with me? Board members are always a great group of travelers. They usually have the money. They might be at a stature where they're delegating their business. They've got the time to travel. They love to travel. Chamber members, of course, are great resources, and please, attract your chamber members. Having said that, if you do only keep the offer inside your chamber, you're limiting your possibilities. We strongly recommend getting out and inviting chamber employees, families of chamber employees, but importantly, members of the general public. If you can bring forth members of the general public to travel with you, you are gaining revenue from people that you're currently not able to gain revenue from at this moment, because you don't have an offer that a non-member can participate on. You have a great name, a great reputation in the area. In fact, in the region, chambers do. And people want to connect with you. And this is a great vehicle for non-members and members of the general public, maybe even the retired community, to interact with you and to travel. Build strong alliances with entities such as charity groups and organizations. These are people who are looking for money and funds, maybe like you are. Local colleges and universities. A lot of community colleges look for international awarenesses as part of their criteria for students to pass various classes. It's a great way, and always there's alumni of those local colleges too. Senior centers are great resources. Other fundraising organizations, if you have a Rolodex in today's day and age, I think if you look through your Rolodex, you'll find many of these people or entities listed here could be chamber members. And it's important to really get the message out once you have started the program itself. You can see a lovely little picture here at the bottom. This is the Jaffrey Chamber in New England. You see the Jaffrey sign as you drive into Jaffrey, and their chamber building is straight there after that. And then they're talking about their trip to Ireland. Free advertising. Not everybody has an advertisement on the chamber building, but it's a great way to do it and get the message out. Plan ahead so you can make sure you can get the widest net possible to attract your travelers and get the message out early. We strongly recommend, if you're doing this for the first time, to have a minimum of 9 months lead time. So if we were talking of a trip, we're looking towards the end of next year to initiate a program. Some chambers do it earlier. Some chambers, we've known to do it in 3 months. That's very quick and it's very fast. We don't recommend it. 9 months is what we recommend. If you can get longer than that, even better. But somewhere around about 9 months. You use Facebook, and again, these are all sections that I know you are experts on, getting the message out. But Facebook, social media are great ways. Member email blasts, inviting family members of members, employees of member organizations, um, ads in local newspapers. Many chambers have weekly or monthly bulletins inside local papers. Drop in an advert in there, do a trade or a barter with the local newspaper or business journal. It works to get the message out. Ads in senior publication are usually free, if not extremely inexpensive, and it's a great way to get the message out. Press releases are historically free of charge, and newspapers do offer press releases too. Radio spots, TV spots. Again, there are many chambers across there that have their own business programs on the radio or in local TV. There's nothing to say that you've got a wide audience there to drop out a little note, a little blurb on your trip. Let people know that you're heading out and invite them to come. As I mentioned, TV too. It's important to treat this as you would be doing a membership campaign. You'll find if you put the marketing and the message out, people will come. People want to go on these programs. People are traveling all over the world right now. They just may not be traveling with your chamber, and you are not collecting any non-dues revenue from them. So why not try? Here's a great example of a newspaper in a local business journal. This is the Ulster Chamber from New York, and in actual fact, they're heading to Cuba today. So a local business paper picked up the fact that they were going to Cuba, and it helped them in their marketing aspects. This is a great way to be able to get the message out. A good friend of mine, Mike McMullen, president of Carroll County Chamber in Maryland, he's been going to Cuba on and off for the last 3 years. He's heading out again in another 10 days. He has a local radio station. He's the chap behind with his hands up in the air in the radio station booth. He's found that he gets a great deal of publicity on his radio station. He just mentions it, but he also has other ways to get the message out too. The Hampton Roads Chamber did actually get a great spot on the local radio, and I'm going to start this now. It lasts about 2 minutes, but it was a great advertisement, and their trip sold out within 15 minutes. And that's what we would all like to do. But this is a great opportunity and a nice piece that they got, not only a PR piece on the chamber, but also on the international awareness. And I'm going to start this right now.
It could be a much-needed vacation with a historic twist you'll never forget. The Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce wants you to join them on a trip to Cuba. And with newly restored relations to the U.S., they're hoping to make that happen soon. I talked to them about the plan. Sponsoring a trip to expose Tidewater residents to other cultures is nothing new for them. The Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce has done it since 2010. These are some of the photos from Austria and Germany in 2014. In the past, we've gone to Austria and Italy, Spain, even China. And this was one of the ones that they wanted to go to. This year's first trip chosen is different, historic. They're heading to Cuba, a place that's been isolated for half a century. For a lot of citizens, it's the first time that they've had exposure to Cuba in more than 50 years. We're really excited about this trip. In December, President Obama announced a major shift to expand economic ties with Cuba, open an embassy in Havana, and send high-ranking U.S. officials in. With that, our chamber is hoping to be one of the first in the Commonwealth to organize a trip over, not just for the business community, but anyone in the community to join. Given what's going on with the Obama administration with certain sanctions, this was great time. It could be a much-needed vacation with a historic. They're heading to Cuba, a place that's been isolated for half a century. For a lot of citizens, it's the first time that they've had exposure to Cuba in more than 50 years. We're really excited about this trip. In
December, President Obama announced a major shift to expand economic ties with Cuba, open an embassy in Havana, and send high-ranking U.S. officials in. With that, our chamber is hoping to be one of the first in the Commonwealth to organize a trip over, not just for the business community, but anyone in the community to join. Given what's going on with the Obama administration with certain sanctions, this was great timing for us, and it's a really fantastic opportunity. And even though tourist travel is still banned in general, this educational activity will put you on a plane. It's an educational cultural exchange, meaning our citizens will get to go and spend time with the citizens there and get to see what their everyday life is like. We're talking about 9 days and 8 nights away. They'll be able to see a wide range of things. They'll be exposed to Cuban ballet. For those who have been tempted for a number of years, we'll be going to a Cuban cigar factory. It's the beginning of a brand new day. It'd be a great time to set that stage for perhaps one day having great trade relationships between Cuba, our region, the Commonwealth, and the country as a whole. Now to see who's getting on board. Are you interested? Well, here's a little more information you need to know. The trip is May 28th to June 5th. It's $3,599 per person. That's all inclusive, that price, leaving out of Miami. There's an informational session at the Chamber office on February 17th, and I'll link you to more details at wavy.com.
The way that was brought forth, and I apologize, my fat fingers, I stopped it and it had to restart it. But they brought forth an understanding of this is something they have done in the past. They brought forth an understanding of this is a service we're offering to the community as well as to members, and the unique aspect of the destination. And as I mentioned, it's sold out within 15 minutes. The marketing, time is money. Yes, it is important to be able to partner with an entity that is going to produce all the necessary marketing materials that you need. Full custom brochures. We bring forth a 4-sided full color brochure with personalized with your logos and contact details. Reservation forms and terms and conditions, so you don't have to start thinking about how do I do this. Camera ready ads should you need to advertise in local papers, press releases, full color wall posters to drop up in local restaurants, senior centers and such things as that. The marketing aspect that you can call somebody who's been to the destinations, that your travels can talk to people that's been to the destinations, and it's not just knowledge gained from a magazine or from a guidebook. As we do bring forth webinars and presentations to prospective travelers on the destinations. Also, a web booking engine. A web booking engine is, we class as very important. We're all doing much more in a work than we did maybe last year. It is important that we have the services to be able to minimize the amount of workload that is placed on you. How can we do this? Well, we bring forth the reservation form for somebody who's not computer savvy, but I think in today's day and age, virtually everybody is computer savvy. We want to be able to bring forth a booking engine so that your travelers do not need to fill out that form, mail it in, or bring it to the chamber, and you have to send it in to us. By developing this chamber-specific booking engine, you will be given a booking code, and it's listed on your brochure. You'll drop in the booking code in this section here. Now, importantly, you type on Central Holidays West /booking. This site will come up. You'll drop in the booking code, open it up, and you'll be able to, your traveler will be able to fill out the reservation form, make payment on the program, and send it directly to us via secured site. Importantly, we do get the information that they have signed up. The traveler will get immediate notification that they have signed up on the trip, and your chamber staff or the chamber representative will gain immediate notification that John and Alice Smith, with the address, with the telephone number, with the email address, has just signed up for the trip. So you know that you just received a booking. It's very easy. It's not time consuming at all. And it's one of our services that's designed to bring forth an ease of business. And once the frees are available, yes, use them. It's important. We strongly recommend to use the frees. Go on the trip with your travelers and experience the destination. If you go on the trip with them, you will find you'll build the affinity. You'll get to know what people in the local area are doing. You'll be able to tell them what the chamber's doing in the local area. It is very, very important for us to say, go on the trip, experience the destination, give it to a staff member who deserves to head out on the trip because of hard work and such things as that. You never know where travel brings you. This is David Jameson, of the president of the Greater Aiken Chamber in South Carolina. He's actually heading out to the Danube today, but this is on a trip in Innsbruck, Austria, where he met the head of the chamber in Innsbruck. He met the governor of the Tyrol, the archbishop, and many other people on his program, and has built long-lasting relationships, international footprint that was built by traveling on one of the programs. Now, each year too, and Tenja mentioned, we do offer fam trips. Alas, it's full right now. I know you've been receiving emails on it from ACCE. We're heading out to Peru in December, but we've done such things as the Piedmont area. We've been to Spain. We've been to the Amalfi Coast. We've been to Sicily. We've been to Egypt. And if you're interested, please do send me an email, and we'll keep you on the short list of the next email, FAM trip for 2017, as there will be. And we do look forward to hearing how things are. We'd love to have the ability to assist you with your international awareness program. You can call me directly or send an email to info@Central Holidays West. On our website, there is a section that you can request information from us too, and we will be calling you to assist you with your international awareness program. Is there anybody that has any questions for me, please?
Thank you so much, Ian. And yes, we do have some questions that have come in. The first one is from Doug Harmon. What do chambers say to you when they might have to bypass chamber member travel agents?
That's a great question. And it's there are a couple of things here. A chamber member partner is probably going to have to come to somebody such as us to build their program to start with. So there's a couple of things here. What we strongly recommend is get the program up and running. Make sure that if you have the conversations with the travel provider, then make sure that the brochure is brought forth. And then with the brochure, you talk to your travel providers or local travel agencies and say, this is the trip that we're doing together with the official travel provider of ACCE. This entity, I'm taking the assumption that you're talking about traveling with us. I do apologize for that assumption. But this company does chamber fundraising programs all the time. And for everybody that you do produce, Mr. Local Travel Agent or Mrs. Local Travel Agent, we will give you X amount of money. So you can partner with that entity and bring it in that particular instance, and bring forth part of your profit to them for everybody that they produce. Historically, the traveler is not traveling with you because of the local travel agent, and alas, I'm sad to say, because of Central Holidays West. It's because they want to connect with the chamber. And I'm sure Joe would be, from Kalispell, would be able to verify this, that they're traveling because they want to travel with the chamber. So that entity probably is not going to bring forth a whole host of people on the trip. If you need to go to Plan B, you can offer them X amount of money to be your clerical agent to communicate with the traveler and such things as that. Two particular options there. But please keep in mind, the more layers that you have between you, the chamber, and the traveler, the lower the amount of people you will get on the program. Because, again, they're traveling on this trip because they want to have a connection with you, the chamber.
Okay, Ian, for a chamber that is just starting, that is thinking about starting a travel program, earlier in the presentation you hinted on some great locations, and you also hinted on locations that you might want to avoid depending on your location in the region. But are there certain locations that you would recommend to a chamber that's just starting?
Yes, there are. We deal in perceived safety. Once you have an affinity going, people will travel with you most places. But what we need to bring forth is a perceived safe destination in a good value price. Nothing too exotic to start with. We don't recommend South Africa to start with. We don't recommend a riverboat to start with because those tend to be a higher price. Start with maybe a Spain, maybe a China, maybe an Italy program, something that, again, off of the beaten track. It's not Rome, Venice, Florence, because those particular trips have been done. It's not a Barcelona, Madrid. Select a destination in those regions that are off the beaten track, that offer true value for money that you can't find elsewhere. And we'd be happy to, on a one-to-one basis, depending on where you are located in the United States, discuss that question specifically based on your needs. But something in that format. A great one is Spain. A great one is China. Those are great destinations to start with.
Ian, we have another question, and I think this might be the last one that we have time for. We have about 4 minutes until 3. From David Strodell. How much does price point impact enrollment, and what price range is the sweet spot?
Yes, good question. Price. I don't get into price per se. I'm going to talk value. Value is always important, and value, depending on where you are in the United States, depending on which airport we are flying out of. Obviously, if we're going to Europe out of the West Coast, it's going to be more than a New York chamber or a Connecticut chamber flying out of the East Coast. But if you can come forth, especially for your first program, into a mid-$2,000 to high $2,000 sell price, from an East Coast gateway, somewhere round about that, probably around about $3,000 Midwest, and maybe just a little bit more out of the West Coast. That's what you want to look for, including your chamber profit. That would be a sweet spot, should we say, to get into. And again, based on where your location, that's we can discuss on a one-to-one basis. China, we have gateways out of New York. We have gateways out of the West Coast. We have gateways out of the Midwest, and we can be in that low $2,000 range for China, out of New York, and out of the West Coast, and we can be in that mid $2,000 range out of the Midwest. Europe, we can be in that low $2,500 to $3,000 out of the East Coast, and again, Europe, we can be Midwest. We can be a couple of $100 higher, and a little bit more out of the West Coast. So those are your sweet spots and destinations and pricings in a very generic model.
Thank you so much, Ian, for this informative presentation, and thank you everyone for participating. Again, just a reminder that this webinar recording and the presentation slides and materials will be available on the ACC website in a matter of days. If we have any questions that we were unable to answer, we will be certain to get those to Ian Scott, and we will forward those to the asker. We hope everyone has a great day. Ian, thank you again.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.